Hi, Elizabeth. My name's Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
Hi. Thanks for agreeing to meet with me today for your team meeting prep for working with the department. Before we get started, can you show me a copy of your ID so I can just make sure that you are who I'm supposed to be meeting with?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So before we get started, due to the pandemic, we're doing this meeting virtually, which you agreed to, but I do need to make sure that you're okay with participating in this meeting virtually, so I just need a verbal consent from you to go ahead and proceed with the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get started with going over the prep material for your meeting, we just need to discuss a few things. The first of that being confidentiality. So obviously, without a release of information, any information that you provide here in this meeting today and during any interaction with the department is confidential. So if someone were to ask me if I knew you in this capacity or worked with you in the department or anything like that, I couldn't confirm or deny that we work together in a professional capacity or that I know you. However, there's some limitations to confidentiality. So for instance, if you were to disclose anything that would be a concern of child abuse or neglect, obviously we're all mandated reporters, so that's something that would have to be reported, as well as if you had disclosed something, some kind of intentions to harm yourself or harm someone else, that is something that would have to be reported. And then if we at the department do work with the courts frequently, so if if I were ordered to disclose information about our work together, we do have to follow court orders, and we do report to the court as a regular operation of business. So outside of that, the information that you provide will remain confidential. Do you have any questions about confidentiality?
No.
Okay. And then with this being kind of a small area, we do like to address, ahead of time, the potential of, dual relationships and social encounters and those types of things. So again, going back to confidentiality, it is possible that if we were both, out in the community, not here in the professional setting, and, I were to by chance run into you at the grocery store or something like that, which is really possible around here. I wouldn't want to be rude, but also I wouldn't acknowledge you because, just by doing that, it would disclose that, I know you, and could raise questions as, if you have individuals with you or if I did with me, how we know each other and that kind of a thing. So, I wouldn't acknowledge you in any way. However, if you wanted to initiate contact and say hello or whatever, obviously you wouldn't have to. But if you did, I'm not going to be a jerk. I'll say hi back. But we would want to keep it superficial, so we wouldn't want to go into talking about your case or anything that happens here in the professional setting at like Walmart or somewhere like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing we do like to bring up is social media, since that's become, a pretty big part of life nowadays. So if, for example, on like Facebook or, any of those other types of platforms, we couldn't be, like friends on there because it would kind of cross some boundaries with the, professional client relationship. So, if we were to, have an encounter that way, that's also, something where we couldn't communicate on that type of platform. I had provided you with my business card, which has our 24-hour hotline if it's outside of office hours, or if you can't get a hold of me, or if it's an emergency or something like that. So we definitely want to avoid, using alternate contacts. Like I wouldn't give you like my personal contact information or social media or any of those other things. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions or concerns about your confidentiality, privacy, or receiving services in the community where it is possible that chance encounters might happen?
No, I mean, I know that we went to high school together, so
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
how
and
does that all work?
um, and I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, with us being kind of acquainted that way, again, if you know, we were to be out in the community and you know, saw somebody that maybe we both went to school with, and they were to ask, you know, if um, any kind of questions about your involvement with our department, if you happen to share, you know, with whoever you want to disclose with that you're involved with us, and it being known that I work there, you know, obviously I wouldn't confirm or deny that we work together in that capacity. Um, you know, if I were to see someone from school and they were to ask me about it, you know, privately away from you, again, I wouldn't, you know, disclose anything about our involvement with you. You obviously, it's your business if you want to talk to, um, you know, friends, family, or whoever about your involvement. And, you know, if you wanted to mention that we work together, you can do that, but it's not something that, you know, I would do or even could do. So again, I mean, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but I think that, you know, with us having these boundaries in place, hopefully you'll feel a little bit better moving forward.
Yeah, I do. I just didn't want anybody else kind of knowing what's going on. So you explained it really well, and I feel confident that, you know, what happens will stay between us.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move into your meeting.